Hey, what's going on, y'all? I hope life is good. And if it ain't, I hope it gets better. And hey, maybe this podcast will play a part in making that happen. So sit back, listen, hang a bit. Laugh with me, laugh at me. All that matters is you're here. This podcast starts right now. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. That's the name of this podcast. Thank you so much for taking a moment to listen. You didn't have to. You got things you got to do today. You got a schedule. It's much appreciated. And listen, let's get something straight right out the gate. I'm going to be general on most things, specific on a few, but I'm no guru, boo-boo. So you help me, I help you, and at the end of it all, if we're better versions of ourselves, even by just a little bit, I'm going to call that a W. Guys, we just got back from an incredible cruise. Now, I'm certain some of y'all have been on cruises far better than the one we went on. You got to remember, I got nothing to reference this by. I went on my first cruise and got out the country for the first time, so everything's fantastic. Having said that, it was pretty freaking awesome. Because, cruises give you an opportunity to go somewhere else. And yeah, you may have paid for the cruise and bought the all-inclusive package, but it feels free once you get on the ship. And if you do like we did, because the way our bank account is set up, we have a checking and a savings and not but so much money in either of them. We didn't get the internet package. You're kind of cut off. It's like you get a chance to reset because you can't just be scrolling on your phone. You can't really use social media. You might have text messages coming in, but outside of that, you can't do anything. So what's the point of walking around with your phone doing a bunch of stuff? It's like you get to unplug for just a moment. It's like, it really is like one of those situations where you just go away, bam, and you're back once you get back off the ship. And I think that's good for everybody. Also, going on a cruise is not unlike going on just a general vacation. You get to leave whatever is at home, and then you get to go somewhere else where the things are not there that you're going to have to come back to when you finish. And that's okay, because some time away is not a bad thing. Here's the cool thing about this particular trip. And I think, in my opinion, if you've ever been on a cruise or ever been anywhere like a resort or something like that, we had the most freaking awesome staff. Let me just take a moment, right? Let me take a moment because if you've ever been to a resort, you've ever been on a vacation where you're getting waited on or anything like that, good servers, great staff can make a level 7 experience go to a level 27. It's just like we had, and I'll speak about in particular 3 folks. We had like a ton of them, but number one, Deji. So he was the guy who was just giving us service in terms of making sure our room was clean and beds were made and that we had enough washcloths and towels. Like, this dude literally went out of his way to make sure that my wife had a working and well-running hairdryer. When I tell you the one that she cut on sounded like that thing was going to explode on some like Inspector Gadget secret message type stuff, this thing will self-destruct. Some of you have no idea who Inspector Gadget is, and that's sad. Because when I do, you should immediately start picturing somebody walking across a tightrope, an orange dog, some blonde-haired girl with 2 pigtails, and a random dude in a gray trench coat with a really big nose, hair that I don't know continues after he takes off his hat, and a phone in his fingers, which is kind of cool. Like, I feel like that's going to be a thing, like gloves that talk on your phone. I digress. Deji just made sure that we had everything we needed, and he was almost anticipatory of our needs. It was so cool. This just was one less thing that we had to have on our mind, if that makes sense. And then when we went to dinner, the first night, we had a server named Panji. So Panji was from the Philippines, and he was serving us dinner, and dude just went all out. Because you got to remember, I don't think I've told some of you guys, but my wife is vegetarian, vegan. Why do I say both? Vegans, do not jump out the window. You can't be vegan and vegetarian. Chill out. She is vegan in most all other areas of her life. But she does like eggs, that's an animal product, and she does like cheese, which is why she does not call herself a vegan. Again, 90% of the time, no dairy, no animal product whatsoever. But, okay, so relax, don't lose your mind. They went out of their way to make sure that she had exactly what she wanted to eat. Because, the menus are made at mass on a cruise. So they've got to be as general as possible without being so ridiculously general that nobody likes the food. But it's not like they're going to give you a 5-star meal. And if you go in expecting that, I need you to lower them expectations significantly. But Banji made sure that he did everything he could to give my wife the best experience possible. And as a husband sitting across the table watching this man go above and beyond, you couldn't do anything more than be excited about the remainder of the cruise if he's the standard. If this is my first experience with the staff on the first night, we can only go up from here. And it did. An awesome dude, Justin, served us for the remaining couple of nights, dinner and luncheon. And this dude, probably one of the most witty guys, he's from South Africa, was working on the ship, served us. I'll put it to you this way. You think you're witty? I promise you're not compared to him. This dude was so freaking quick. I'm not one to match wits with somebody and just go back and forth, but I would say something. He'd say something back to me. I'd be like, let me give you a little something else. When I tell you that boy was like, kapow! But for those of y'all who just listening, kapow, there's a gun involved, but it's like, we're talking like Yosemite Sam, kapow! Like right out. It was out the holster, like, shoo, pew, pew, whatever. All I'm telling you is Justin was quick and he made everything fun. Now, he had to play my face for drinking a mojito. It was delicious. It was purple, it was fruity, and it had way too much sugar in it, and I drank several. Don't be mad at me. Listen, this man I said, I'd like a mojito, please. He's like, you mean a mojito without the alcohol? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll be back with your juice. I said, sir, that is unnecessary. And he just laughed. So again, guys, I can go on and on about the staff. It was just super awesome. And Royal Caribbean, if you want to sponsor this podcast, great. But if you don't, you still have an awesome staff on the Enchantment of the Sea. Really, really good experience. And guys, we're my wife and I, we went with 2 friends and just really had an awesome time. We're learning cha-cha. And I say learning, but my wife is a dance teacher. She knows the cha-cha, generally speaking. She can get the steps. But it was cool. We just, in this little group, in the center of the boat, people on the 3rd and 4th, whatever story, looking down and watching us learn the cha-cha and watching me be way too extra because, I had to flip my head back like that, even though I ain't got hair. But if I had hair, for real, woo, hair would just be going crazy. And just being silly and having fun and watching my wife smile the whole time. Oh, it was awesome. And getting to know some people. I had a chance to do some karaoke. Now, some of y'all know I sing, some of you don't. Now, I don't know that I sang. Understand, that vowel I in sing and that vowel A in sang means something. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. There are some folks who sing, and they are great singers. And then some folks sang. And then some folks sang down. Come on, somebody. You know what it is. And if you don't, go to somebody black church on Sunday and let them have a real good solo. Someone who knows they can sing, but is also one of them folks that has worked at that craft and can make you feel something. And you're wondering, why am I crying? I came here to worship the Lord. I came here to lift my hands in joy, and you got me sobbing. I'm crying. That's somebody who sang down. Let me give you an idea. There's so many. See, I knew it was gonna happen. Here's an easy one. Whitney Houston sang down. Understand it. Now, and here's the thing. Some of y'all are like, well, she was good on her records. Oh, that woman sang in church. Y'all ain't heard none of them things. Y'all ain't heard them recordings. She sang down. Let me give you another one. Lettucey will sing down. Shoot. What's the old girls? Mm, Yeba can sing down. And there's so many that are super famous, so many that are semi-famous, so many that are just known within the musical community, but I ain't one of them. I can sing. And I did karaoke. And as my wife would say, I was boat famous for a little bit. I sang Brian McKnight back at one. It's undeniable. I don't know the lyrics, so you know I was sitting there looking at the teleprompter because I was like, I'm finna mess all this up. Now, if it was 2004, oh, I'd have memorized that. I knew that thing backwards and forwards. In the dark night, I feel the coming of the sun. All that stuff. But it is 2025. I ain't heard that song in at least 10 years. At least 10 years. Probably more like 15. So now I was standing at the teleprompter. But hey, seemed like everybody liked it. We got to do all these games where couples were where couples were being picked out of the audience and just like asked marriage questions, and we're sitting there talking to each other about, like, we had good food. We got to get off the ship and go to Cozumel in Mexico, and awesome people, first off. Secondly, food was stupid. Let me paint a picture for you. All right? Like, whatever you think of Mexican food here in the United States, I'm certain that there are some spots and some regions in the US of A where Mexican food is just on point. If it ain't Mexico, don't care. Because what we had on the beaches of Cozumel blew my freaking mind. I've never had chicken so perfectly charred, grilled, succulent. Oh, the tortillas. Ay, Dios mío, ya tú sabes. La comida. It was great. Now, it could be that I just have never had really good Mexican food, or I've had good Mexican food and this just takes it up a level. I'm going to go with the latter. I had a pina colada with no alcohol that when I tell you, first off, they gave me way too much. Shout out to them. Portion size was ridiculous, and I fully accept it. When I tell you I could have sat on that beach and drank that whole goddamn thing. And the weather, breeze for days. Now, it was hot. I was sweating for no reason at all. I mean, at all. But with a pina colada in my hand, I got no problem sweating a little bit. Now, granted, we were in shade, so we were catching that ocean breeze. Sand in our toes. Well, technically, I had my shoes on, so in my shoes, which is unfortunate. But awesome. And here's the thing. Now, I don't drink. Let me specify what I mean by I don't drink. The total amount of alcohol I've had in my body in the entirety of my life has been probably somewhere around 5 Smirnoffs and a can of beer. Like, that much alcohol. Matter of fact, put a little flute of champagne. And that's the total amount of alcohol in the 40 years of my life I've had consumed. And on this trip, we went on a tequila tour. Now, I figured, okay, I'm going to sip this tequila that they're offering us before they take us on the tour. They mixed it with some Fresca. I'm like, all right, cool. It's mixed. It's probably not going to be as bad, but I'm going to taste this. It's going to taste nasty. And then we'll go on the tour. And then this will be just something that Aimee can enjoy because she does sip on an alcoholic beverage from time to time. When I tell you, I ain't even tasted dangerous. It was delicious. Yo, I didn't think tequila was supposed to be delicious. Now, yeah, Fresca was carrying the thing and it was, holding most of the weight. But in college, I sang in a group called Higher Ground. Shout out to App State Higher Ground. And shout out to John Penley who led that, and all those awesome dudes from that time, man. We went to Clemson, I think, for a concert or competition, one of the two. I don't know where we placed in it. All I know is we went to an after party. Now I'm just chilling there. A lot of girls, a lot of ladies just around, folks getting drunk, doing things, having fun, if you will. Then someone says, hey, yo, take a shot. Now, I was easily influenced, and it wasn't like they even pressured me hard. They were like, dude, take a shot. Because you ever notice that when somebody says they don't drink, you now become the target, and you now are going to be surrounded by individuals whose sole mission in life for that evening is to make sure you drink some. They'd love to see you drunk. But at least if you drink something, they're gonna be all right. And again, you call it peer pressure, but they didn't have to do much. So I drank it. Oh, burned all the way down. Nasty. I believe that was tequila. I could be completely wrong. That could have been whiskey. Long and short, my expectation for the tequila was that I'm not going to like it. I don't care how much Fresca you put in this thing. It's going to burn, and I'm going to be like, cool, never again. Just a reminder of why I don't do this. That thing went down smooth. I didn't even taste it. And I was like, if you can get this nasty salt off the rim of this plastic cup, it would be phenomenal. Because that saltiness, you can let that go. That is the devil. I don't like none of that. But this other stuff in this cup, ooh, delicious. Let us explore. So we go through the whole thing. We taste some tequilas that taste like strawberries. And some tequila that tastes like snozberries. And the raspberries taste like raspberries. Some of y'all are like, where are you going with this? Willy Wonka, snozberries and whatever. But we just tasted tequila that tasted like a whole bunch of things. Coconut, Reese's Pieces. That was wild. Tequila can taste like Reese's Pieces. I don't know if that should be a thing, yet it is. Guys, this is just all the different things that we experienced. Our guide took us to some cenotes that the locals know about, had us riding around and seeing sights. We saw a huge turtle that had come to lay eggs and had gotten stuck, and they were rescuing the turtle. What an experience to have seen. Like, it was just really, really cool. And yeah, we did some shopping and things like that, and we hung out with our friends, and we went to the gym. That was pretty cool. My wife and I got a chance to work out together. And listen, she goes and does classes, like sweating, just getting that cardio up, doing all that stuff. And I do some cardio too, but I really just kind of lift weights, right? I might lift them in a manner that does get my heart rate up, but I'm lifting weights, doing squats and things like that. So it was cool to have her step into my world as I've stepped into hers before, and I can't hang. That's sad. Hot yoga is the devil. It is not fun, but you do feel really good after you do it. I'm not going to lie. Like, you feel stretched and relaxed. Get your mind out together. Watch yourself. While we were in the gym, we had a chance to meet an incredible woman named Evelyn. And that is the title of this episode. Let me tell you about Evelyn. So we're over there. We've done a couple different sets of some different things. And we go to the assisted pull-up machine. And, we get Aimee set. She's doing a couple things. She's doing some pull-ups. And she gets her 5 or 6. It was pretty cool, right? It's just not something she's used to doing. She's like, man, I got to get some more upper body strength. Cool. She hadn't done it in a while, if at all, in a long time. And so I get ready to do mine. And I'm thinking, all right, let me just do some assisted, right? But I also remember I've been working out for a little bit and haven't really kind of tested my limits. Like in high school, we used to lift and lift and lift, and then we do our PRs, we do our maxes, right? Just to kind of see where we're at. I hadn't done a max anything in a while. I'd only done the assisted pull-ups after struggling through some poor form bodyweight pull-ups for a month and a half, 2 months. So I said, let's just see what happens, right? Because in addition to doing the bodyweight pull-ups, I've been doing some upright rows. I've been doing some seated corded rows. I've been doing some dumbbell rows and just, some back flies and different things like that, just to strengthen my back. So let's see what happens. I get up there, perfect form, y'all. Like, calisthenics dudes would be proud. They would hit me off with a clap like, yo, I like what you're doing. Perfect form pull-ups. And I did 7, and I was like, yo, I could do 12, but I got so freaking excited that I did 7 because I'd only been doing like 3, 4, 5 maybe. Now I'm excited. Over here comes this short lady named Evelyn, and she just pokes her head and she says, yo, I'm impressed. You guys keep it up. Because, if you guys keep doing what you're doing and being healthy and taking care of yourselves, when you get to my age, 75, it's going to be smooth sailing for you guys. Now, when I tell you she said 75, like, we won't go and just reverse and go back to what she said. Like, we just going to drive past 75. Like, we were just going to say, no, we ain't got to investigate 75 at all. No, we can leave. We can go. No. Ain't no way you're going to tell me you 75 and you do not look it at all. Evelyn, maybe 55. And that might be stretching it. Now, can you tell she's had some sun? Can you tell she's lived a little bit? Yes, you can tell she's not 25 years old. I don't want to, I'm not trying to gas you up, and I'm not trying to like big her up to a point where people are like, let me see this Evelyn. Then they see her and they're like, I'm disappointed. No. Because shout out to Evelyn, even if you met her, you wouldn't necessarily, even though you bigged her up, be disappointed because she's such a freaking awesome person. She's encouraging us, and she goes back to doing her thing, and just a really good interaction. And she's doing some like core work, she's doing some arm work, like she's doing the things that a lot of women need to do. Like, ladies, just so you know, I need, if there's any thought of this in your head, for you to completely dispel any of the myths that have been told to you that if you lift weights, you're going to get bulky and look like a dude. I need you to kill that and kill it immediately, because what you're going to need to do, especially as you get up in age, and we're talking, let's say past 40, you better be lifting weights because your bone density starts dropping like crazy. Now, I don't know all the science on this, but I know this. You're going to need to lift so you can strengthen the muscle around the bone. You're going to have to do some things that impact, right? Maybe some leaps and bounds if you can, because impact helps for bone density. But you're not going to be able to say, hey, I'm just going to do yoga and I'll be fine. No, you're just going to do yoga and you'll be incredibly flexible. You may have some core strength, which is awesome. But if you fall, your hip's going to break. So let's get up the bone density. She was doing the stuff to make sure that at 75, it still blows my mind. At 75, she was as healthy, fit, and energetic as she was. Like, so she goes to do her thing, we do our thing, we head out, right? But as we're walking, me and Aimee are like, nah, 75? Lies. Lies, I tell you. And so we're like, if we see her again, we're cornering her, and we're going to say, ma'am, are you lying to us? And oddly enough, we saw her again at the shops that night. We're just looking around for different things, maybe stuff we can get the kids or stuff we might want for ourselves. And truth be told, some of that stuff was incredibly well priced. And then some of that stuff is like, bruh, I'm not going to buy this for this much. Like, they had some backpacks that were pretty freaking awesome. But nay, I say, to buying a clutch for $600. Now, maybe I'll speak differently if I win the lottery a couple times. I won't. That's a lie. No. $600 clutch, not purse, not bag, no clutch. That, you know what? That's just not what the Lord has for me. Some of you are like, well, the clutch ain't for you. That ain't what the Lord has for her neither. Okay? Anyway, we see Evelyn. We walk up to her. Hey, Evelyn, we're from the gym. Do you remember? Yeah, how you guys doing? We're meeting her family. She's just hanging out with her husband, her sister-in-law, all these folks. And so we're just asking her about stuff. And she's just such a bright light, just a cool person. And she's, again, encouraging us, uplifting us. And we get a picture with her. And after we take that picture, we kind of go on and do our thing. And we're like, all right, well, it's an awesome person, a good experience on an otherwise awesome trip thus far. Then we have an opportunity to go to one of those marriage game shows where we're just kind of sitting in and couples get picked out of the audience. And what the speaker was looking to do in terms of finding contestants was get folks at different stages of marriage. So she said, hey, anybody in newlywed? So newlywed to 6 months to a year. Like just that first year of marriage. Couples raise their hand. Yep, 8 months, 2 months. We got married before we got on the cruise. So they pick somebody out. Then they go, hey, anybody been married for between, this many years and this many years, right? Like, I'm assuming like whatever's in between, the older ones that they listed, which were like 45 years or more, right? So they got the in between. Then they said, hey, who's been married for 40 years plus? Hands are going up. 48 years, which is awesome. The other hand goes up, like 51 years. Then we see that same woman, that same little energetic, taking care of her 75-year-old, so she says, woman, sitting with her husband, raises their hand and yells out 55 years. And we said, let's do the math. Calculator, Uh-huh. 25? You wrong, Blaze. Because that's literally what I said. She got married when she was 25. My wife looked at me like, you good with words, but clearly not numbers. So she got married when she was 20. That is crazy because that's not normal these days, right? But again, back then, probably was. And so we're like, yo, she really is 75, 55 years. So another couple gets up, who I think was married 56 years. And shout out to Gary, because Gary was part of the couple that got up there. Gary didn't want to be there. Gary is just an engineer who has worked his whole life, has taken care of a family, brought home the bacon, and said, y'all eat the bacon, let me chill for a second, and then I will come and eat with you. Don't ask me to do nothing else. Bringing home the bacon was hard enough. Just let me chill. And then when he retired, he said, don't ask me for not nan thing. I'm trying to go on this cruise and just hang out. But his wife said, no, we finna go up on stage. When the host, who is from Liverpool, so you can already imagine. I can't do a Liverpool accent, but now anyway. But you can just imagine a Liverpudlian accent. And he was a Liverpool fan. I asked him if he was a blue or a red. He said a red. Can't hit on that. Put the mic. He said, hey, Gary, 56 years. That's incredible. What's the secret? Gary looked this man in the face and said, can I go now? Gary was not here for not nan bit of this foolishness, this tomfoolery, if you will. But the entire audience is like, Gary, 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 Gary. Like, we're hyping him up. We're getting him excited. And you can tell it's kind of melting the ice a little bit for him. Dude, Gary's the coolest dude. There needs to be a t-shirt. Royal Caribbean, get on it. Let's go, Gary. That is the name of the t-shirt. 5% my commission. Stop playing with me. I came up with the idea. You heard it here first. Do not cut me out of the profits. Thank you. Let's go, Gary is the t-shirt. And it has to be blue because that's the t-shirt they were wearing because she dressed him and made him look like her. It made perfect sense. Let's go, Gary. So after it's all said and done, we've enjoyed our trip. We've sipped drinks. We've eaten good food. We've danced. And we danced bachata, we danced salsa, we danced the cumbia. Didn't know not nan bit of what we were doing, but we tried to fake it as much as possible as I bumped into several people on the dance floor. Like, had time to rest, worked out, hung out with each other, explored the city, the tourist side, and the side that the locals see. Just really had a great time. We come to the last dinner, and who walks over randomly and says, I hate to interrupt, Evelyn. Guys, it was so awesome meeting you. I hope you have had an awesome trip. Have a great time getting back. Go back safe. And, again, just lovely having met you. Like, just a class woman. Just a class act. Super energetic. Just a ball of positivity. Not overbearing. Still a cool lady. But just awesome. Just awesome. Awesome. And I guess if I had to take maybe some lessons from Evelyn, here's what they would be. Number one, there is never a bad time for a genuine compliment or genuine encouragement. We live in a time right now where, and I'm not certain what started this, I could say social media maybe, but I can't really blame it all on that, where talking to someone else has been deemed weird. So much so that folks are hesitant to talk to other people, if not afraid to do so. And it's sad. I happen to grow up with a dad who did not know a stranger. We could literally be going to the store. That is a 5-minute drive to the store, 3 minutes to get what we need, maybe an extra 2 minutes to check out, then another 5-minute drive home. That's 15 minutes. We would come back 45 minutes later because this man is all up in the aisles talking to random strangers, and then he's going to go get a beer with some random dude later on this week because he's never met a stranger. And don't let the other person have a naval hat on. Well, they're about to swap stories about him working on nuclear submarines and that person working on aircraft carriers. Oh, it's going, and somehow they would know somebody. And they'd be like, oh, do you know Mike? I know Mike. Hey, I ain't seen Mike in a minute. You talked to Mike? Yeah, I talked to Mike. Yeah. It is wild. I also grew up with a mom who I saw on a daily basis, or at least heard about on a daily basis, having to talk to lots of different people, lots of different groups, different departments with different goals and different agendas, and somehow be able to help to clarify information from this group to be able to get it well received to this group. I saw this woman talk to people who I could clearly see did not like her, and yet she was able to communicate in a way that helped them achieve what they wanted to achieve. And then she would bring groups that may not necessarily not like each other, but they've got different goals and somehow get them on the same page. I saw good communication all day. And my brother's a teacher and a good one. Can communicate with anyone. Shout out to Jabari Sellers. Y'all need to check out some of his poetry as well. Like, it's talking to people for some reason today almost seems scary. And I'm not certain why that is. I'm certain there's a multitude of factors. But even in the midst of all of that, and you can list out every single factor you want to, and include, baby, negative experiences in the past, there is never a time where a genuine compliment or genuine encouragement is somehow going to land wrong. Now, they may not necessarily look up at you and say, well, thank you. Well, that was so nice. No, but what they might do, even if they're having a bad day, be like, thanks, and keep it moving. That's okay. That's all right. That just means, hey, appreciate you saying that, but I don't feel like talking. Right? Number two, actually, last point on number one, giving a genuine compliment does not mean it has to be super deep, and giving genuine encouragement does not mean that it has to come from the depths of your soul. It really is like, yo, I see you got a t-shirt on with a team. I'm going to assume you really like that team. I might ask, dude, or like if let's say they've got a Duke shirt on. Duke is a university here. Maybe they've got a North Carolina Central University shirt on, right? Bull City, you know what it is. I might be like, yo, are you a grad or you a fan? They say I'm a fan. Dude, awesome, man. How are they doing? Because I may not keep up with them, but I got a pretty good feeling. If I ask how they're doing, the response is either going to be freaking awesome, let me tell you about it, or God, we suck right now. All I'm doing is giving them an opportunity to talk, man. And that feels good. To talk about the things that are important to you feels good. Or I might see some dude, I'm not huge into sneakers, but I know a good color combination when I see one. Hey, yo, dude, I don't know where you got them sneakers from, but they look good. Was that? Listen, the way you've tied your laces, such intricacy, such passion in each loop. I did not take it that far. I just gave a genuine compliment. Or if I see someone in the gym, and I've done this. If I maybe see somebody in the gym who's a younger kid or whatever, and I see old boy doing his thing, I might go up to him and be like, hey man, I saw you getting after it, dude. Keep it up. And walk off. I don't have to have a big, huge conversation, but now at least that kid knows, yo, I'm doing something right. I may not be doing it perfect, but that's genuine encouragement. Number two, and I learned this is a takeaway from Evelyn. Do now what your future self, the person 20 years from now, will be thankful you did. Let me say that again. Do now what your future self, 20 years from now, will be thankful when they look back that you did. Evelyn spoke to how she had not necessarily been working out all of her life, but that she started working out not too long ago, and her mindset was, I got to take care of myself now because I got plenty of years ahead of me. Her mindset was, what I do now is going to impact my future. My future can be ridiculously awesome, or it can be less than awesome, or it can be downright horrible based on what I do now. I can't do nothing about the past. The past is the past. It stays there. I can glean from it. I can maybe take some lessons, but there's no way that I can step back into the past and make any changes. So ain't no need to trip over that. And there's no way that I can predict the future to a point where I know exactly what's going to happen. And I think for some folks, that's a bit scary, like not knowing the future and not being able to change the past. Like I heard it said that there is no amount of regret that can change the past and no amount of worry that can change the future. So what Evelyn, or at least what I took from what Evelyn was saying, It's something I've actually heard some really awesome dudes in my life, some mentors, some dudes who I admire to this day have said. And that's, do today what is going to have a positive impact on your future. That person 10 years down the road is going to look back and either they're going to be like, I wish I would have, or they're going to say, I'm glad I did. You get to choose that today. And number 3 is notes from Evelyn. And I took this from the fact that she was married 55 years and some of the things she said about her husband and their relationship and things she's excited about. 55 years of marriage is awesome. And it has its share of ups, downs, highs, and lows. No doubt. No doubt. Anyone who's been married for any length of time and says it's been bliss the whole time, do not take marital advice from them because they're lying to you or they're lying to themselves. Okay? Any couple that says, oh, we don't argue, they're lying to you or they're lying to themselves. Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys. Unless y'all have something you meant to say, what you said makes no sense. What do you mean you never argue? I didn't say you never. If you meant argue as in knock down, drag out fights, no, you never have to have a knock down, drag out fight. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but argue? No. But from Evelyn, what I took was happiness is a choice. One of the things that she said, and I'm making sure I heard it right because I've been thinking about it, is she said, I just have energy and I decide I'm going to just be energetic and be lively and have fun and do. She said the word decided, and she might have said, I choose, right? But what I heard, because what people say may be one thing, but what people hear might be another. You may have a message that you want to get to somebody, so you say these words, but what they receive from it, you can't control. So she might not have said the word decide, but what I heard was, I get to decide to be happy. I get to decide to have energy. I get to decide to see the positive in life. Because you better believe Evelyn has some days that suck. And yeah, we met Evelyn on a cruise ship. You should probably be happy on a cruise ship. I just have this feeling after having spoken to her and spent the little bit of time around her that we did, that she chooses happiness on a daily basis. Oh, by the way, you can do that too. I can do that too. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Probably easier said than done, but it's still a choice. It's still a choice. And sometimes that is a choice that happens at the beginning of the day and you can maintain that throughout the day. Sometimes you got to hit a decision in the morning when you wake up, one at lunch to get through that part of the day, and then one before you go to bed. Maybe sometimes you got to do it minute by minute. I'm deciding this minute I'm going to be happy because I swear to God, my coworker, I'm about to fight them right now. Forget this job, they finna get these hands. Like, whatever you got to do, it's still happiness is a choice. Guys, if you ever get to meet Evelyn, because I don't know her last name, but I think you'll know her when you meet her. And I think she lives in the Tampa area, or somewhere in Florida, I don't know. But you will be blessed to have met her. And I think those 3 things, if you talk to her for long enough, you'll be able to receive in the very similar way that me and my wife did. And the staff, the activities, the environment overall were awesome. Made the trip a great experience. Evelyn was essentially the rainbow sprinkles on top of a great soft serve vanilla ice cream. And if some of y'all are hating on vanilla with rainbow sprinkles, I don't know what's wrong with you or what happened in your childhood, but you're wrong. Let me tell you, you're wrong, because vanilla ice cream with rainbow sprinkles is awesome. And it doesn't matter that the sprinkles don't taste like nothing. It's about texture. But that's Evelyn. She was the icing on the cake. And so hopefully, if not Evelyn, you have somebody who you are thinking about when you think, man, they're just joyful to be around. They are energetic, lively, and they've got a positive outlook on life. When I get around them, I feel better. If I'm feeling good, I start feeling great. If I'm feeling bad, I start feeling good. They're that type of person. And I hope, again, that you have somebody like that in your life. Y'all, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. That's the end of the podcast. I will catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, that's our show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. Hopefully you got something from today's episode. Like it, share, subscribe, get involved in the comments, tell a friend and tell a friend. And until next time, smile a little bit more. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.